I'm so grateful to be here. And I just want to use the privilege to introduce to you our wonderful guest. Our chair as Mr. Karl Ampah. He's the representative from the UNESCO office, Accra. And lawyer Bernard Bosompra is the former copyright administrator of Ghana. And also he's here in our midst. And then we also have the current copyright administrator, who is the acting, his representative in the person of Mr. Samuel Ewuku. Yes, he's here representing the acting copyright administrator. Then we have Mr. Kobe Spikey. He is a wonderful content creator, a musician, and a fantastic man who has created songs that even the football world have been able to, unfortunately, infringe on his rights. So, Mr. Kobe Spikey, he's known as Mr. Nkrumah. Yes, he's also here. Thank you very much. And then my partners since 2020 have been a wonderful support to me. That is the Apprise Music. The CEO is here, Mr. Michael Bamfo. Yes, I've been doing this with them all these years. And then we also do have Musicians Union of Ghana, being represented by our National Welfare Officer, National Treasurer. Yes, National Treasurer in the person. He's also a musician, has created wonderful songs. And when I mention his name, I'm sure you would remember. Reverend Eddie Ayesen. Yes, yes, thank you very much. We do also have my own father, who is Mr. Benjamin Oduro Arhin. He's also here, a former lecturer from University of Cape Coast. And then we have Reverend Tega, all the way from Cameroon. I've known him for about 5 years now. Reverend Tega, please give us a wave. Yes. We have the currently Actors Guild representative in the person of Mr. James Clark, a.k.a. Alafia. Yes, also representing Alive. We are so grateful. And then we do have Mr., we call it Me Frankie, just like Frankie Five. Also, he's also here in the midst. He's a musician and also a wonderful pundit. Mr. Frankie, yes, thank you. And we also do have Mr. I don't want to say Mr., so let me put away Mr. He's a DJ, you know. He mixes music and makes it lovely. DJ Planet, he's here, and he's also in our midst. And then also we do have a group that I consult for, which we know as the National Federation of Masqueraders and Fancy Dress. Their vice president is here in our midst. Mr. Honorable, sorry, not Mr. Honorable Martin Kweku Bejra. Yes, thank you very much. We have Mozino at the back. We have Mr. Bobi at the back. We have Lovely B at the back. And our MC, who was also here. God bless all of you for being here. Apprise Music came with a team. So the team is acknowledged. The grace and this and that also. So thank you very much. I am here basically to start this, a very short experiences, the one we couldn't have on TV, to just also kind of give people insight onto what intellectual property and sport can veer into. So I would start by inviting our chairperson to come and join me on stage, and then we'll have about 10 minutes conversation. Then I'll move on to all the other speakers. And then as you are here, please observe if you have a question, then you can bring it on board. Thank you very much. Let's welcome Mr. Karl Ampah as he joins me here. All right, so Mr. Karl Ampah is the chair for the day. He's going to give us his opening remarks and then some few points that we want to build up from there in the next few minutes. So, sir, thank you very much and welcome. How is UNESCO?
UNESCO is good.
We thank God. So this is World Intellectual Property Day, and we happen to be our wonderful chairperson for today. Please, what do you have for us this morning?
Okay, so now we are getting very formal.
Yes.
A bit different from what we had earlier on in the day. So distinguished guests, colleagues, representative of government and industry who are here, members of the academic community, and then respected retired copyright administrator, ladies and gentlemen, It's both an honor and a privilege to chair this important lecture held in commemoration of World Intellectual Property Day. I extend sincere appreciation to the organizers for this invitation and for convening such a timely and forward-looking dialogue here in Accra. This year's theme, Intellectual Property and Sports, Emerging Trends and Opportunities, is not only relevant, it is essential. The intersection of intellectual property and sports represents one of the most dynamic frontiers of today's creative economy. From athlete image rights and broadcasting agreements to merchandising and digital content ecosystems, intellectual property is now central to how value is created, protected, and distributed within the global sports industry. From the perspective of UNESCO, intellectual property is more than a legal or commercial instrument. It is a catalyst for creativity, innovation, and sustainable development. It empowers creators, whether they are athletes, artists, designers, or digital innovators, to derive fair benefit from their work while contributing to cultural diversity and economic growth. In collaboration with partners such as the World Intellectual Property Organization, UNESCO advances policies and programs that strengthen creative ecosystems, particularly in developing countries. Our work spans several interconnected areas, and I'm going to outline them. First, the creative and cultural industries. Here, we support frameworks that enable creators to protect and monetize their assets, especially within sectors such as music, film, fashion, and traditional crafts. In Ghana, this includes heritage-rich domains like kente weaving and contemporary digital creativity. Then we look at sports and ethics. I mean, most people usually know UNESCO as education, science, culture, and communication and information. But we have a big role also in sports. Anti-doping is a big area for UNESCO, and it's the UN agency that has been tasked, to handle that. So we also promote anti-doping in sports, and sport as a driver for inclusion, youth empowerment, and sustainable development. Through intellectual property, we are increasing opportunities to protect athlete identity, ensure fair compensation, and enhance the integrity of sports commercialization. Then the third part, digital transformation. As sports content increasingly migrates to digital platforms, issues of ownership, licensing, and fair use become more complex. UNESCO advocates for balanced systems that protect rights holders while ensuring equitable access to knowledge and cultural expression. Thirdly, education and capacity building. This is also very important. A core part of our mandate is strengthening knowledge systems by fostering intellectual property, literacy among students, entrepreneurs, and policymakers. We help build resilient economies that can compete globally. So today's lecture speaks directly to these priorities. Ghana stands at a pivotal moment where its sports sector, rich with talent and global potential, can significantly benefit from stronger intellectual property frameworks. Whether it is a young athlete building a personal brand, a broadcaster investing in exclusive rights, or a startup developing sports-related digital content, intellectual property is the backbone of sustainable growth. I also commend the initiative to broadcast this lecture nationwide through your media or media partners. This aligns with the UNESCO's enduring commitment to the free flow of ideas by word and image, ensuring that knowledge is not confined to this room, but reaches citizens across the country. So as chairperson, I encourage all participants to approach today's discussions with both critical insight and practical ambition. Let us move beyond theory to achievable strategies that will strengthen Ghana's sports ecosystem, protect its creators, and unlock new economic opportunities. In closing, Dr. Arhin, I reaffirm UNESCO's commitment to supporting Ghana in advancing intellectual property awareness, fostering creative industries, and leveraging sport as a vehicle for development. It is now my distinct pleasure to formally open this annual intellectual property public lecture and to invite our distinguished speakers to lead us into what promises to be a highly engaging and impactful session. I thank you.
All right, so audience, we are very grateful for our chairperson's wonderful opening remarks. Just some few points we want to pick up, and we want to just look at going forward with all other subsequent public lectures. We want to find out how can we bridge the gap between UNESCO as an entity and then the process through which all other creatives can be able to also approach the office. What are the processes to go through so that it will help all of us learn from that point of view?
Okay, the UN usually creates all these days to help create awareness or spotlight certain issues that need to be discussed or dealt with. And we usually would want the nations to lead. Of course, there are certain times when the UN agency itself would take the lead. But ideally, we would prefer that governments take the lead or nations take the lead, and then the agencies provide support. So as I said when we were discussing this up there, April 21st is even International Day for Creativity and Innovation. So that can be connected with this day, which actually fell yesterday. That's International IP Day. On April 23rd also was World Book and Copyright Day. So all these three can be connected in the discussions that we're having. And as far as UNESCO is concerned, the office is in Roman Ridge. It is your house. A UN house is the people's house. You can walk in anytime to find information, or if there's something specific you need, you may set up an appointment, come see any of us so that we talk. If we're not able to help, we can even point to areas where you can get support, because that's part of our role, connecting people, help create the dialogue, and ensure that we all benefit from these days that are to be celebrated, or the people actually benefit and make good use of these days.
Fantastic. Let's show some love to our chairperson. So the UNESCO office is a link between us and every aspect of our lives in education, science, culture, and all that. So we want to just wrap up with this conversation and then find out about does UNESCO has a process whereby if an individual wants to push a legislative instrument in a country, that they can help facilitate that process so that it can, help us get that frontier that, oh, okay, I have even UNESCO backing. What will be that process if it is possible?
Okay, don't forget that the UN is a secretariat for all its member states, same as UNESCO, as one of the specialized agencies. So we can provide you with all the technical information you need to help you craft whatever draft legislation that you want to put out there. We can put all that, we can help you, we can help connect you to other people also who may have what we may not have, to ensure that you have all that you need. We are also able to convene. We have the convening power to put people around the table to help you get all the information you need to put things together. And just like you said, UNESCO was actually set up to promote global peace. So all that we do, through education, the sciences, that's natural science, social and human science, communication and information culture, the bottom line is to ensure that there is global peace and sustainable development. They are not on its own, but they're all geared towards that.
All right, let's show some love. Let's show some love. Let's show some love. All right. Thank you so much. So we would let our chairperson and then resume his seat as the chair. And we would then ask the next person to come. But before the next person takes the seat, I would just want to give a summary as he resumes his seat. And the whole idea is this: UNESCO is the bridge, that special agency bridge between us here in Ghana and the United Nations. And as he rightly said, they have put in structures and means through which, all of us can understand the perspectives of this world. So I want to pause here and invite lawyer Samuel Bosompra to take the next seat. Bernard, lawyer Bernard Teko Bosompra. And as he takes his seat, let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. So this is the whole idea, is to be able to give people to share insight on what intellectual property spans in our lives. And our next speaker here, lawyer Bernard Bosompra. The current Copyright Act that we have, 2005, Act 690, he was the person who was in charge to make sure that the act was passed. And that was in 2005. Can we show him some love? Show him some love. And he did so well to be able to do it. So, sir, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Doc.
All right. So we want to find out, in drafting a bill like the Copyright Act, how does it start? And how do we understand it in terms of intellectual property? Because copyright is just one aspect, so that all of us will understand that process and be able to vibe with it going forward.
Thank you. The Copyright Act that we have today was not the first copyright legislation in this country.
Okay.
When we were under our colonial master, yes, that is under UK, we were using those laws they call laws of the laws of general application. Okay. If you are in Ghana and they pass their law in the UK, it's of application to you. Nigeria, Gambia, and all of that. India, those of us were under them. Now, in 1961, when we became independent, we had the first Indigenous Copyright Act during Nkrumah's days. And then when late President Rawlings came on during the PNDC era, we had another one, PNDC Law 110, which was made in 1985. And so we proceeded from there. There were certain provisions in those laws that we couldn't just leave off. We needed to carry them along. And day by day, we belong to international organizations. They have conventions, they have treaties. Ghana is a member of UNESCO. Ghana is a member of the World Intellectual Property Organization. We have the Patent Cooperation Treaty. We have the trademark. We have all sorts of international organizations in the area of copyright and related rights and the other industrial property. And so to make the law, you proceed from what was already there. As I said, PNDC Law 110, we didn't repeal it because it was not relevant to us. But there's something we call, in the area of copyright, say copyright follows after technology. The same applies with other intellectual property laws. When I was in the Copyright Office, I don't think we have things on the YouTube and all of that. And so with time, the copyright law, what we have, if the whole thing is not repealed, it has to be reviewed in a way to meet with current trends. Because in our part of the world, passing law is not easy, because the Copyright Office or whichever agency will have to justify why the existing law will have to be changed. Of course, you do that through your minister. If you are able to make that justification, then he will take it to cabinet. And then cabinet will give approval. Of course, we have the drafting section of all laws within the AG's office, the Attorney General's office, or the Ministry of Justice. And so there is a director for drafting. So when you have the, after you got the necessary approvals, first you review the existing law. Whatever is available you want to take in it, you take it. Whatever additional you want to add, you add. And more so, day by day, as I said, countries or the international community passes, conclude treaties. And so when a treaty is concluded, the first thing to do is to sign it. And then later on, Parliament will ratify it. Now, the moment Parliament ratifies that treaty, then there's something we call, you need to reduce that international treaty into your domestic law. Okay. So as a certain politician, you domesticate the treaty. Okay. And it means that you reduce it into your domestic law, which can be enforced in your country. And so that's the process. You are a teacher, so the teacher proceeds from the known to the unknown. And so that's how laws are made. And in the area of intellectual property, we rely so much on technology, both copyright and related rights. And then, of course, the industrial property, it relies so much on technology. So as technology changes, the law must also change. You'll be surprised that in the US, they change their copyright and other IP laws, maybe every 6 months or every year or something. As and when new things come. I remember at a certain time when we were working, that is with WIPO and the other member countries, we were working on a treaty in the area of broadcasting. Yeah. Those days, the Americans were talking about podcasts. And it was like because they were up to it. Yeah. And those days, we were dealing with traditional broadcasting. Yeah. Television, radio, and that. And they were already talking about podcasts.
When internet had not even been known to
people. They were already doing. And those days, of course, because we were not up to it, but we deal with numbers at a certain level. So we have to insist that they should take that out, because that is not why we were there. We were on traditional broadcasting. Okay. But now podcasts and all those things, they are relevant with us. Yeah. So now, if there's a law on those, we need to reduce that into our law. So the 205 law, by now, even if we don't repeal it, because I think there's still a lot in it which is relevant. Maybe we intentionally use words like device. Mm-hmm. As for device is device. If maybe it's a gong today, mm-hmm. and it is something else, that's the trick we use to keep the law relevant. Otherwise, by now, our copyright law could be
outdated.
It could be outdated, or maybe by current trends and all of that. So that's how laws are made. You start from what you have, and then you add. Sometimes you need no repeal. If there's so much in the law that is relevant, then all that you do is you amend. Then you amend. That one is there, and then the portions that you are amending, you make reference to them in the new amendment. So the two can be used side by side.
Okay, so in the case where an act was not repealed, and then a new one is put in, does the two works hand in hand, or you need to quote the new one when you are dealing with
you cannot have two acts at the same time. That's why I'm saying that the current act that we have, Act 690, there's still a lot in it which is relevant. Just like when we took over, when we were repealing the PNDC Law 110, there were certain things that were still repeated in this law. But then there were so many that we are living in that one. So PNDC Law 110 was repealed. But if now what we have, there's not much to take away from it, then it will be referenced as amendment of the Copyright Act, Act 690. And then the preamble and everything about it will show that you are just repealing and adding. So that in that case, once it's an amendment, it will be indicated. Then in that case, the two can be used side by side.
Just like the 2008 amendment on the, what do you call it, the Bandex rule,
That's
that
right.
they brought in is substantive to the 2005. Okay, quickly, let me ask this. The issue of Kosga, and now it is no more, but people still talks about Kosga, but it's separated. What caused the separation?
Well, you know, our democracy, the thing we call democracy in Ghana, for which we are known, has affected every aspect of our life.
Okay.
The Copyright Society of Ghana, ideally, should have existed.
The Copyright Society of Ghana
should have existed.
Okay.
But the various rights holders, especially previously, music was very relevant. They, in PNDC Law 110, most of the things we refer to in PNDC Law 110 was more music.
More music, okay.
Those days, audiovisual was not very prevalent. Now we have the Copy Ghana, which are for literary authors, the photographers, and all of that. So at that time, the musicians were of the view that if they were the main proponents, why do you form a society called Copyright Society of Ghana, and they will be making use of their money?
Okay, that's the justification.
So then they, right from, in fact, there was a seminar, by then Mrs. Betty Mould was there. There was a big seminar we held at the State House. And their then president, Joe Mensah, was there. He fled and kicked up against the Copyright Society of Ghana. And that was the beginning of it. But to tell you the truth, I had always stood for we having one organization we call it collective administration of copyright. But we can have portions of, let's say we can have a board.
A board?
We can have a board for music rights, a board for audiovisual rights, a board for reprographic rights. Then you have one office, you have one organization, but you may have semi-boards. But you report to one chief executive. Now we have the music rights. They have their chief executive. They have Gamro. They have their chief executive. They have their office. They have this. Copy Ghana has their own chief executive. They have their own board. They have their own office. They pay electricity. They do this by themselves. Audiovisual rights and the performers, the same thing. Why can't we have one big organization? Maybe you have one chief executive. You may have deputies, somebody responsible for audiovisual, somebody responsible for, a deputy responsible for but you have one chief executive on top. So all the organizations, they pay one chief executive because for administrative purposes, in collective administration, 30% of the collection is supposed to be for administration. So if you take 30% for audiovisual rights, you take 30% for Gamro, you take 30% for that. They all go into administration. But now they all have, and it's an expenditure. Administrative expenditure will have to be taken before royalties are distributed.
So in a short form, it means these boards and the chief executives contribute to the less money people receive.
It is very likely. But you see, those days, when you are a public officer, there is a limit to which
you can share information.
Because if you are advising, the person can, the corporate administrator work under the Attorney General or the Minister of Justice. And we are in a democracy, and if somebody has some connections with a political party, you, the public officer, what can you do? Before you write, sometimes you are giving the kick. So, but as much as possible, if now, reflecting back, I think if they can have separate boards, right. But within the same, but now we have a structure, everybody has his own office building, everybody pays his staff, everybody pays his electricity, everybody, and all of that, which some of these things could have been
been
reduced.
done with that.
So that is why we don't have the Copyright Society of Ghana. Although previously, all the right holders come under one umbrella. That was the original one, PNDC law. 117. We have the copyright side. But with democracy, everybody says no. We want to administer our own thing.
Okay.
And that caught up. Parliament
Okay.
also caught it up. So that's why we have
Okay.
the
last question
splinter
I'll
organization.
ask about is the Ghana Intellectual Property, either organization or authority, that we should have like one entity, just like the issue of COSGA, so that all of them can be under one place. If you go to Europe Copyright and Patent Office is just at one place. WIPO, the one we are all imitating, is just one. Trademark and everything is there. Here in the case we have where trademark is somewhere else different, patent is somewhere, copyright also is somewhere, industrial property is GFA thereabout. In your opinion, is it possible to do that in just about a minute?
No, we have two areas of copyright. Of intellectual property. We have industrial property, which is made up of patents, trademarks, and all. And that is what is put together as the Ghana Intellectual Property Office, GIPO.
Okay.
But the GIPO, previously, I don't know the situation now, but originally, GIPO was supposed to be under the Registrar General.
Okay.
Even though it has its own offices at the State House area there. But now the Registrar General has now become more administering company and
registration of companies.
Registration of companies, marriages, and all of that. Otherwise, the GIPO office is supposed to be under the Registrar General. Now, the reason why we still should have a copyright office is that, for all you know, what we create more is in the area of copyright.
Okay.
We have our own music. We have our own, audiovisual.
But to cut you short quickly, I'm just thinking of a situation whereby we made a perfect analysis of where we have CEOs and we are paying them separately. If we have Ghana Intellectual Property Authority or organization or office, and then we have just one CEO, and then, yes, we have a Deputy Director for Copyright Office, Deputy Director for Trademark and Industrial Property, Deputy Director for Industrial Designs. Don't you think that would have also been an ideal situation?
It would have been, but in most countries, copyrights and related rights they have their own office.
Yes.
One place where intellectual property, especially the industrial property, thrives so much is in Japan.
Okay.
And maybe now China. Now, if you go, you have the patent office in Japan, and then you also have their copyright office. They have a different name for it. If you go to the US, for them traditionally, the copyright office is part of the Library of Congress. So what they call the Capitol Hill, the copyright office is located at the Capitol Hill, where they have their Senate, where they have their Senate and their House of Reps and all of that is located there. But their patent and trademark office is in Virginia.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. So now that we have all these wonderful ideas about how copyright, intellectual property offices are structured within the Ghanaian copyright space, we want to say thank you so much.
Thank you
for your wonderful education.
Thank you.
And we'll use this opportunity to also invite the next person, which is Mr. Kobe Spikey. Welcome back. And this is Bnoskka. We are here for our annual Intellectual Property Public Lecture at Marshall's University. And it comes right through you by Max TV, Max FM. And this is a means through which we all learn about intellectual property and sport. Now, previously we've had Mr. Ampah giving us UNESCO's perspective on how intellectual property and sport goes. And then we also had a former copyright administrator in the person of lawyer Bernard Bosumpra, giving us an insight on how laws are passed and how it interspaces with intellectual property from best practices, from international treaties that are rectified here in Ghana, and the processes through which we learn. We also got to learn that COSGA was once the only sole system of copyright royalties collections and also distributions. But for the fact, in his words, democracy, we now have separate entities that are dealing with all this. But from the analysis he gave, it is really interesting to find out that indeed the current system that we have is good and it's working, but it is creating more expenditure because we have separate boards, separate CEOs, separate utilities, and they are all taken from the same 30% revenues that they generate for all these three sectors. So if you put it together, it's about 90%. And therefore, the rest of that money is distributed to the people. So if your money is less, don't blame anybody. Blame the system we have established. Now, moving on, we want to invite our next person who is also a musician, a content creator, and had an experience with how intellectual property and sports fares. And he has a fair taste of what infringement looks like, the difficulty to go through, and how to deal with remedies and awards that are even granted to you by the law court. This is Kobe Spikey. Kobe,
hi.
Welcome to this public lecture.
Thank you.
Please tell us about who Kobe Spikey is, his real name, and then a little experience about your life in music.
Okay, so my government name is Kwabna Ofe Kwade Nkrumah.
Kwabna Ofe
Kwade
Nkrumah.
Yes. And I'm a tech consultant, but I dabble in music. I like to produce music on my, in my free time. And my favorite genre really is African themed music.
African theme?
Yeah, film music.
Film music.
Like every music has a film score and everything, but I realized that most of the time, Ghanaian movies didn't have film scores that were original from Ghana. So I decided to carve a niche for myself and start producing Ghanaian themed film scores. And so I would produce them, put them out there, and then tag filmmakers who would, like something original.
Yeah.
And then I would get occasionally people who are making documentaries, movies, feature films reach out to me to purchase or license my music. So it became sort of like a side hustle. And then so I had a huge catalog over time. I uploaded them on social media, on SoundCloud, on YouTube as well. And then I have friends who become fans who listen consistently so they can identify my music anytime.
All right,
so,
good.
Yeah.
That's great. So this is Kobe Spikey, and we have Marshall's university students are here and wonderful audience. I just want your take on what the former copyright administrator said about intellectual property, copyright, and its registration. And you being a content creator, film, music, scorer, and all that, have you taken the time to register any of your works with the Copyright Office? If not here in Ghana, how have you been able to ensure, even though copyright is automatic, you don't need to register, but have you thought about that?
So I went with the automatic route
Okay.
because I was distributing my music. So I trusted the platform that I was using to distribute my music to automatically assign those copyrights for me. So I had sort of like the ID for each instrumental that I put out, which I would use to track wherever it was placed. And thankfully, technology was helping me. So because of this distribution, if someone used my music on YouTube or anything, it would get flagged. And when I go into my backend, I would see whoever's used it. To the point, there was a time I saw a school in, I think, was it Senegal, was using my soundtrack for an advert. And well, I monetized it. So I was making money from their video. So that's the route that I went. I didn't register it locally because I didn't know much about the local process, and I thought this worked for me anyway, so that's what I went with.
That's fantastic. Let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. All right. Now, back in about 7 years ago or 8 years ago, I heard about Kobe Spikey and CAF. What happened with Kobe Spikey and CAF?
So yeah. David and Goliath happened.
David and Goliath, interesting.
Yeah, one weekend, one friend of mine, Gary L. Smith, sports journalist, he reached out to me and said he'd heard my soundtrack somewhere and he's pretty sure it was mine. And I don't like sports, so I would never have found it.
Okay.
because of the way they used it. And so he sent me links from CAF Awards promotional materials, and every one of them had my soundtrack.
Wait, you mean CAF? What is CAF? Is it a cough or what?
No, Confederation of African Football.
Aha,
so
good.
The governing
so
body
Confederation
themselves.
of African Football
Yes.
had your soundtrack
Yes.
in their promotional events and their award schemes.
Yes.
And no, they asked permission.
No, they didn't. Absolutely not. I would have remembered.
They
I mean,
didn't ask
no.
permission. Nobody contacted you.
Absolutely not. So initially, I thought maybe it was one of my friends
Okay.
who was maybe a video editor who had done that. So I reached out to most of my friends and said, listen, something's happened. Which one of you did it? And everyone says, it wasn't me.
Nobody did a pitch.
Nobody had. So
Wow.
on that note, I realized, okay, I have to follow this up. So I reached out to CAF because this was on their Best African Footballer Male and Best African Female Footballer advertisements, where they were sort of requesting for putting out those who were the should I say nominees, yes.
Yep.
And it went on, it was on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, it was everywhere. And it was my music, and it was not even fair use. I wouldn't say maybe like some 5-10 seconds. It was a full 30
version.
seconds. You know,
Wow.
so you get an intro, you get a bridge, you get a chorus.
Interesting. So it tells you that it is not only individuals that could cause infringement, even entities.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure that CAF is not aware. They are aware, but maybe processes somebody didn't do due diligence.
Absolutely.
And that is how the infringement caused.
Yes.
Okay, so now tell us, when you noticed the infringement, what is the step you took to be able to ensure that the fair thing is done?
So initially I tried reaching out to them because I was more of a, well, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
When you think about it. You produce music, and for such a huge body to use it, it was, worth the exposure. But then also it's theft, you know. I felt proud, but then I felt, offended.
Okay.
And so I tried to reach out to them like, we need to resolve this. And that resolution fell through the cracks. We never came to a conclusion. They never made any advances towards settling or whatever. And
Did they respond to your email?
No. In the beginning, they didn't until I went to social media and made noise. Then they reached out through someone to me and said they wanted to resolve the situation. And I said, well, I've tried to reach you for all this while. So at this point, I think the best solution would be remuneration.
Okay.
And they asked me how much. It's like, you used it on a grand stage, so it shouldn't be. Well, basically, we never had the conversation to an end.
Okay.
And so I had to resort to legal means, sent them multiple letters, most of them ignored, until finally I decided, you know what, I'm going to go to court.
And you did go to court?
And I had to go to court.
Okay. I heard about the court case, and I also heard about your judgment you got, which was indeed in your favor.
Yes.
Now tell us, you had lawyers that followed you here. Where was the court?
It was in Ghana, so we went to the commercial court at the high courts. We started the whole process trying to settle. So because CAF was not present here, they had their lawyers, sitting for them for whatever it was. We had some discussions as well. And they made a very meager offer. It wasn't even enough to pay my lawyers, so I rejected it. And then we proceeded to actually now going for trial.
Okay.
And the whole process is very, very long and tedious. And now I understand why most creatives give up, because it is tedious. It's expensive. And if you're not spending money, you're spending time. And time is money. So you're losing both ways. And so I, at a point, almost gave up because I had dug deep into my my savings.
And you've spent all?
Yes, spent pretty
So
much
how long
everything.
did the court process last?
So the whole case started, when we started trials, like 2022.
2022?
Yes. And I got judgment in 2023.
1 year?
Yes.
2 years?
Yeah, so almost 2 years. So yeah, going into 2024. And then in 2024, again, CAF appealed to the courts to stay the judgment, not to let me collect the money, basically.
Okay.
Yeah. And their defense was the money was too much.
Okay.
So, yeah, we still are in courts.
You're still in court?
Yes, we're still in court.
Meaning they appealed, stayed?
So it was thrown out, but then we
It
also...
was thrown out,
yes,
okay.
we also filed contempt against them because as part of the initial judgment, they were supposed to pay me damages of $250,000 and 40,000 cedis to my lawyers and then make sure that they took down all the infringing material from all platforms. They had done so on their platforms, but they didn't do it for all the other platforms. So if you still searched hard enough, you would find it. And so we took the matter back to court, for contempt, because obviously they're not also making any attempt to pay. And so we were like, okay, you know what? We need to force their hand some way because they don't have a physical presence here. We can't garnish the accounts. You can't seize anything. We tried all means, appealing to authority, but yeah, it all fell on deaf ears. We also did even try a criminal case against them.
I was going to go with that.
Because yes, copyright is both civil and criminal. So we did the criminal, but once again, as I said, David and Goliath, yeah, there was a bit of a friction on that path. It didn't really go through the way we expected. And so we had to still fall on the civil.
Okay, all right, that's interesting. Now, I would want to find out, you said something which struck me so hard, that sometimes these processes makes you lose hope and you don't want to continue. Now, you sit here, you've still not gotten your awards. You're still not recovered from all the money you spent. Have you given up or you're still making music and creating film scores?
No, I'm still creating and I'm not giving up.
Okay.
Because after this, what I realized was that a lot of people face this every single day. I had a lot of musicians reach out to me when it happened about what remedies they should seek because they'd had similar, cases. And a lot of them would just let it go because it's expensive. They can't afford a lawyer. And very few lawyers would actually work pro bono and tell you that, okay, would take a share of your winnings afterwards. And so a lot of them give up. And I think that's what, emboldens these people to continue to infringe because very few people would chase this to the end. Considering how much I've spent and how people even come back and tell me, listen, just let it go. This thing will drag. You're going to waste money. Eventually, it's going to go to appeal, and it's going to go to Supreme Courts. And it's not cheap. I can tell you that for sure. It's not cheap.
And it's quite unfortunate that it goes through. But I believe that in as much as you're holding on and still engaging in music, we need to, have an alternative whereby we can afford legal services, which is like legal aid. So the cost of it, because we don't need to deter people based on these issues. But all the same, it is good because I heard about Michael Jordan's case and it took like 25 years before he had judgment. And so I would wish you all the best. Let us keep fighting till CAF does the right thing. And please, when you receive the money, you have spent enough. I don't want anything. I just want to hear that indeed you are now okay. So I can use it to also tell people that indeed Kobe didn't give up and Kobe fought to the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. All right, so what we're going to do is that we're going to invite the next person, which is from the Copyright Office, as Kobe resumes his seat. And what we're going to do now is that we've looked at all these angles about intellectual property, and we've heard Kobe Spikey share his experience about how even CAF didn't do the right thing, and therefore they've been sued for an infringement. So it tells you that it's not anybody. Everybody is liable. Anybody could be liable, and we are all able to become infringers. So let me welcome Mr. Sami Euko from the Copyright Office. Let's show him some love.
Thank you, Bnoskka.
Yes, that's good.
Hello.
He represents Mr. William Bonsu, the acting Copyright Administrator of the Copyright Office. And the first thing is that I want you to take a bite of what Kobe said. The courts are expensive. is the copyright, have you got some means through which, where if all these issues get to this point, that the office could render a helping hand by giving him a lawyer who then will be able to be charging money, so that at least it can be a form of relief and also an incentive from the Copyright Office? Is it possible?
Yeah, good morning, Bnoskka. Good morning to you all, audience. It's sometimes disheartening to hear that our brother Kobe Spikey had to go through this painful path in his pursuit to seek justice for his right being violated. But to answer directly the question you asked, IP of all kinds are private rights. Yeah. And so the individual copyright, in this case, the copyright matter, the individual rights holder has to take the matter up and find his lawyers like he did. But if at any point you would want to, you want the office to recommend a lawyer for you, the office cannot, or the office may not be able to represent you in court. But at least if you reach out to us, we may be able to recommend that this lawyer is good in that. IP is quite a specialized area, and so this lawyer would be very helpful in court. And in the case of Kobe Spike, at the latter stages, he happened to get a very good lawyer who is well versed in the field of IP. And I think that she has been so helpful in pushing the matter up to this point. We are just hoping that you will get your damages in due course.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Tell us in brief minutes, what is the Copyright Office, doing in terms of education, in terms of awareness creation, and how you are also helping us. But audience, please, I'll give you some few minutes. I can hear some mamas. I will give you some few minutes to ask your questions. But please, remember something he said. He says, copyright is a private property. So they cannot get up one day and say, we have to come and fight for you. No, you have to approach them. And like I always say, it's a private personal property, PPP. So let us understand it that way. So tell us.
Yes, I would like to read a short message on behalf of my director, in the person of Mr. William Bonsu. He would have been here, but for some emergency. So I would like to go formal like Chairman did. And so, Mr. Chairman, Dr. Karl Ampah, UNESCO Ghana, Mr. Bernard Kebosompra, it's an honor to see you once again, sir. He was my former boss, if you care to know. So he's the former copyright administrator, chairperson from Apprise Music and your team, a representative from Musica, representative of Actors Guild, if you are still present, sportsmen and women here present, entertainment pundits here gathered, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Good morning to everyone here and those who may be watching us from home. I deliver this short message on behalf of the head of the Copyright Office, Mr. William Bonsu, who would have been here he would have loved to be here, but for some emergency. Indeed, IP's immeasurable relevance cuts across every facet of human society, and it is not surprising that the theme for this year's commemoration of the World IP Day is on sports. IP, which protects human ingenuity and innovation, relates to sports in diverse ways. Many equipment and products have been invented over the years aimed at promoting the different disciplines of sports and enriching the experiences of sports enthusiasts. For example, Adidas Jabulani was introduced in 2010, if we may recall, as the official FIFA football during the FIFA World Cup, 2010 World Cup. We've heard of goal line technology introduced in 2012. We have heard of video assistant refereeing introduced in 2016, and recently AI-enabled technologies like semi-automated offside technology, advanced wearables for real-time fitness monitoring, and AI-driven football analytics. Trademarks also protect names, slogans, and logos of clubs and individual players. Copyright, one of the two main pillars of IP, grants protection for literary and artistic expressions, such as music, films, books, paintings, work of sculpture, architectural drawings, among many others. In the sports arena, ladies and gentlemen, jingles, anthems, logos, photographs, artworks, and TV or radio commercials used to promote sporting activities are all protected by copyright. Moreover, organizers of sports events have broadcasting rights, making it unlawful for others to stream or broadcast the events without seeking authorization from such organizers. Additionally, video footage of sports events recorded qualify as audiovisual works protected by copyright, and thus people cannot use them for commercial purposes without express permission from the organizers. On this day, Mr. Chairman, as we mark the World IP Day to celebrate and acknowledge the contribution of IP rights holders and stakeholders, we extend warm greetings to our able sportsmen and women in Ghana and across the world. Aside engaging in public education and enforcement-related activities, the Copyright Office always endeavors to improve the legislative framework to create the enabling environment for all stakeholders in the copyright industry. The Copyright Office spearheaded and facilitated the passage of the Copyright Amendment Regulations 2023, also called the LI 2469, and the office has been making every effort for its implementation, which will commence pretty soon. We are hopeful that the implementation of LI 2469 will bring more benefit to rights holders. The Copyright Office is grateful for being invited to be part of this year's event in commemoration of the World IP Day. Thank you. Now you can have the questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so I want to just keep it short. Just tell us, beyond the formal speech, what should we expect going forward in terms of the new systems that have come in place, application systems like WhatsApp, TikTok, Snapchat, and YouTube, and Telegram, and all these new systems. And people's understanding of compulsory licenses when it never exists in our copyright laws, and how we should be looking forward from the Copyright Office going forward. Is there going to be a new review, amendment, or anything that is going to come to be able to help bridge the gap with new technologies and new creative forms, especially AI as well?
Yeah, thank you very much. Indeed, like Lawyer Bosompras said, it's about time that we revised our current act. Some 2 decades have passed already.
Yeah.
As he mentioned, 2005. It was in 2005 that it was promulgated. To a very large extent, as if you could recall what he said, Act 690 still is relevant.
Yeah.
You know, it still conforms to a very large extent to the minimum standards that are set by the international treaties that he mentioned. Yeah. But of course, in this day and age, the atmosphere and the environment in which we operate has changed, and so there is the urgent need to revise the law. In fact, it is something that is in progress. Okay. Prior to 2023, all the efforts we channeled all our efforts on revising the copyright regulations, and there were some underpinnings to why we had to focus so much attention on that, which eventually were passed in 2023. just that along the line we encountered some legislative challenges that so up to now we have not been able to implement the new copyright amendment regulations. But I can tell you for a fact that a lot of effort has been done, and so we have been able to remove all those bottlenecks.
Okay.
LI 2469 will pretty soon commence implementation. Okay. But to answer, I mean, in the area of AI and I mean, what people do online, we only advise people to be cautious with how they interact with copyright materials when it comes to the present technological landscape. You know, people think that once I'm on WhatsApp, I can put music on my WhatsApp group, for instance, and everyone can have access to. But in doing so, obviously, you are violating the law because you are reproducing the work. You are also distributing it. You are making it available. Okay. All the laws that are reserved for the copyright owner alone, you are trying to put them in action without permission, and you are violating the law in that sense.
Thank you. There's something I've noticed. I want you to respond quickly. Our Copyright Act, the number of pages. I looked at our Companies Act 992, the number of pages. And there's a situation whereby 2005 Act 690 was passed. It took us almost like 6 years before the first legislative instrument was passed.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, I'm thinking that whilst we are trying to review the law, the legislative instrument and all the things, schedules we need to put in place, just as the Companies Act did, put them together. If it sums up to 200 pages, fine. Because the Companies Act is about, the last time I think about 400 and something pages. So why don't we do that together? And so that it limits us, for us to wait for about 6 years before we get a legislative instrument that will tell us, okay, this needs to be done this way, this needs to be done that way. I think when we're able to think about along these lines, in fact, I've done a research on this and I've written extensively. I will share with the office so that it helps us to bridge the gap more quickly than to pass the act and wait for 6 years. Issue of logging with TV, FMs, and televisions. It's only the LI which, I mean, spoke about it. But the main act is there, and people say, no, it doesn't. They say, go and look at the LI. And the LI took 6 years. You see? So if we're able to bridge that gap, it will help us. I don't know if you want to respond or not, but this is my just intake that I wish we could help facilitate our laws.
All right. I mean, lawyer is here. He alone may be able to advise as to whether or what will be the rationale for putting a parent legislation together with the LI, which is supposed to give effect to the main
No, I'm not saying to put it together. To create more sections within the Act so it accommodates for that, just as the Companies Act did. Because it gives room for all the schedules. You need to register a company, Form A, Form B. It is in the Companies Act 992. And it has volume. Unlike when you look at our Copyright Act, how many pages? Is this 64, 54 pages?
Yeah.
Right? And then the LI also comes about 70-something pages. So, and the Company Act is about 200 pages and over. And it gives that room. When you take the Companies Act, you're able to have all those issues dealt with. They are not even waiting for any LI. The Companies Act is complete. So to me, if we're able to do that and bridge it together, it helps us. It's just something
that will be taken into consideration.
It can be considered.
Right, that will be taken into consideration.
All right, let's show him some love. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. And as we pick our last person, which is from the Apprise Music, we want to pick up from them because they deal with music and they help us understand how music should work these days. If you're an artist and you want to publish your music, whether for sport or for anything, please, the Apprise Music is a partner that will give you that platform. So let us all learn that we upgrade ourselves and get to do the right thing. And let's show some love with our first 4 speakers. Mr. Ampah, Lawyer Bosum Kra, Mr. Kobe Spikey, and then Sami Awuku. Now, Grace, as we want to welcome you, please, audience, I'll give you some few minutes to ask some questions. Let's welcome Sister Grace from Apprise Music. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you, Bnoskka.
Please, tell us in your own way, your own freestyle, what Apprise Music does for musicians and sportsmen, so that if we have any ideas, we want to channel it out, where we can find you and what we can be assured that when we come to Apprise Music, we'll get A, B, C, D done. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very humbled to be here. So my name is Grace Nyele. I work with Apprise Music and Media. So we are a music distribution company. We assist artists to be able to distribute their songs. We also help them to be able to properly structure their catalog so they can be able to earn value for their money. So this year's theme, intellectual property and sports. I'm usually not a sports person. So
just like Kobe Spikey, whose song was used by a sports person.
Yeah. The last time I got my heart broken was in 2008. I think when Ghana, we couldn't go further. So I decided to stop watching sports.
Okay.
But then once this team came up, it drew my attention to a lot of things. That music is everywhere. Music is all around us. We find it even in sports. So when there's a big halftime moment, big fun moment, they are playing music. Even when a player scores a goal and everyone shouts goal, it's accompanied with music.
Goal song.
Yes, and then there's a dance.
Yeah.
Now, how are all these things tracked? Do we have systems that are able to track all these things? Not necessarily. We need stakeholders like the collecting societies, the digital platforms, the distributors like us, Apprise Music, to come together and properly put together structures that we can able to track all these things. A typical example is when athletes are creating content on TikTok, Facebook, all these platforms. They use artist music. Are we able to track all these for the contributors so they can earn their value? Not necessarily. But with Apprise Music, we do have a dashboard where we are able to properly check all these things and track all these things for the artists. So it's important that creators begin to use platforms such as us, and then stakeholders also come together, join Apprise Music, so that creators can benefit from the value of their work.
Where can we find Apprise Music?
So when you search, yes, we are in the digital age, so when you search Apprise Music, A-P-P-R-I-S-E, and music, you would find our website. There are a lot of information there for creators to be able to inform themselves as well. But then our office is also at Nongwa, so you can also reach us or visit our office, and then we can talk more about how you can be able to do these things properly. Our contact information is also on the internet, so on our website, you can call us, and then we can begin from there.
All right, so if I want to come and register, use your system to distribute my song, get it published, get it tracked, and all that, what do I need in just a minute?
Okay, so first of all, of course, your artist name is very important. It has to be unique. We need your full name because it's very important as a creator. Okay. Yes, we also need your ID, identification card, and then we need your songs, the content, and the cover art.
Okay, the content and the cover art. On a cassette or vinyl record?
Oh, that's interesting. Thank you so much for that question. So we do actually receive them via, you can email them to us. You can walk to the office and provide them on a pen drive. In current times at the office, we even receive the CDs, the DATs, and the vinyls. We are able to get all those songs. We are able to digitize them. So it doesn't really matter the material.
So if
we
I
are
have
able to
old vinyl record which belongs to
Exactly.
me,
It
and
belongs
I
to-
can still bring them, and you have the equipment to transform them
Exactly.
into digital and still distribute.
Exactly.
This is wonderful. Let's show some love to Apprise Music. Let's show some love to Apprise Music. So she's going to be here, and we want to use the audience to help us understand your questions, your feedback, and we're going to wrap up with this.
Illustration of design and then creation of it. So what I want to ask is there any copyright law that's governing or that can give benefits to the creator of a design? Like if you design a dress or you design a jewelry, you design something and then you create it. Is there anything that can bring benefit to the person? Like to be able to own it? Because online, I see a lot of people, they create things and people can also just look at the creation and copy it, do something about it. So is there a law that can help us? And then at which point are we going to say that somebody has infringed on our copyright?
Okay. This is a very awesome question, and the answer is very simple. For design rights, you need to first register. It is not like copyright, which is automatic, and immediately you design, you own it. No. You need to walk to the Industrial Property Office and then make sure that what you've designed is unique and is new. It is not existing one you saw somewhere and then you put up designs and you say it is for your own. No. It needs to be new, it needs to be original, so that when you are going, you go with your identity card and then you will pay a fee because it's not for free. And once it goes through the process and you are granted the design right, then only you, the benefit is that now only you will have to be making those designs in clothes in whatever form so that you would get the benefit for that, for the 10 years that you would enjoy that design right. After that, you also have another 5 years, according to the Design Act, to be able to renew your designs. Then, subsequently, you have that kind of designs for you. And it is until you will license somebody else that, I think I have this design. I'm not able to produce to meet the market. So you two take my design, and the person will have to pay you money. So if you have gone to register your design, and you have not licensed anybody, you have not given anybody permission, and they are still using your designs, look, you can cause their arrest, report them at the police station to arrest them, or go to court for civil remedies to take money from them because they have faked your designs and they have caused you to lose. We're going to ask the next question.
Greetings to all the distinguished people here. I'm also Sarah from the Fashion Department of Marshall's University. And my question is simple and real quick. I just want to know how copyright will be helpful for me if I want to start my own personal fashion brand. And then the copyright, do I have to get to a point in the fashion brand that I'm working on before I can get the copyright document? Or I have to do it before I start doing the fashion? Thank you.
Let's show her some love. All right, so the question she asked is quite interesting. This is what you need to do. For fashion, you fall under copyright and then also under industrial designs. If you think that whatever you've created, like I answered the first person, you need to first register it. But if it's just about the production of your clothes, if it's the textile design itself, then you need to go to the industrial office to register. Some designs will fall under trademark. For example, the name of the clothes you are designing. Let's say Bnoskka Textiles, like we have in town. Woodin. You know, Woodin is somebody's trade name, and they come with their own designs. If it is something like that you want to do, then have a name, trademark that name, and then use it to come out with your designs. Then you have the right. Then the moment somebody comes somebody comes to infringe, then you can fight with the person. It's a private personal property, and it's up to you to do that. Let's pick a last question, then we'll wrap up. Let's show some love.
The National Treasurer for the Musicians Union of Ghana. And I want to salute Lawyer Bnoskka for the good works that he did in his time. I've had a lot of communication with him whilst I was young. I used to go to his office. And I still challenge the Copyright Office, your office. That is one of the offices that is not doing anything at all. Last Friday, I was there to the Gamro office to also challenge them. And they told me that the problem is not from them, it is from you. So everyone seems to be shifting blames. I went to Copy Ghana, they also said the problem is not from them, it is from you. So it will mean that you are not doing something right. Even digitalization, you are not able to do it. That is why Kobe Spike will not be able to trust the system, for which reason he will not register his works in Ghana, because he knows that no one is there to protect him. Whilst you were talking, you made mention of one act. And an act becomes an act when it has gone to Parliament. You should have told us that it is a draft that you have for now, not an act. So I want you to make that correction right. It's an act. Now, my question to your office is that what are you doing to protect the works of individuals like the young ladies who spoke? They will come register their works all right. But your area of monitoring is totally off the guard. Not only that, even you are saying that you have a place where there is something like security aspect in terms of making sure that there is, let's say, individuals who are doing the protection for you. Even going out there to protect when you hear it, it's not there. What is the office doing about this situation? What is the office doing? Now, my last question to you is that when are you digitizing your platforms? Because I'll come there again. This year, I'm going to be on all the areas until I see that there's transformation. I was at the Gamro office on Friday, and I asked them the system they are using. And I punched all the holes in that. And I'm coming to your office again next week. And I'm going to find out what you are doing. If you need to be changed, you must be changed. You must go. Because, you see, Lawyer Bnoskka's time, a lot of things went on right. A lot of things went on right. I'm on X, so I want people to hear our frustration in the system. So if they can give us answers to that, then we will keep quiet and leave, and we expect good works to come out of your section. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. What an awesome questions. And unfortunately, I will pick one more person, but just to quickly add up to the question he asked. Let's understand that copyright ownership is a private personal property.
Exactly.
Okay? So the office was set up with the role of giving you the means to come and seek legal recognition for your works. The enforcement part in the Copyright Act was set up by piracy. You see, and how that enforcement would have been effective was the 2009 amendment they did for fixing ban roads on to identifying original items. But today, who goes to GRA to go and buy ban roads to fix on CD, to fix on pen drive, to fix on banner record, to fix on cassette? So that if the enforcement office will ideally work, they'll go out and say, oh, this one is not original because there's no ban roll on it. That aspect is not. So that issue of enforcement, we need to redefine it ourselves and not to put the blame on the Copyright Office. You see, in that way, we are shifting our responsibility, something that we need to protect. It's like your car. If your car is stolen, will you go to the police and say, you didn't protect my car? My car was parked in my house. Somebody stole it. No. Okay? So that is what we need to look at it. So that we do. Please, as for systems that you think it is not the way you want it, Mr. Samuel will respond. But let's pick one last questioner, and then we would wrap up. I'm getting prompt. So let's welcome Me Frankie. Please, Me Frankie, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. Bobby, thank you so much for testing the law for us, we the musicians. Thank you very much. Now, my question has to do with exactly what Kobe is going through. I don't know anything today. I won't find it. So, my question is, if a football club plays my song during matches, or in their highlights without asking, what licenses should they have before they can do that? Okay. And also, who pays me? Is this a stadium, is it a football club, or the broadcasters? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay. All right, so we'll pick this one, last one. What I will say is this. Every football is organized by an entity. So if it's about Ghana music, if it's about Ghana football, it is the Ghana, Premier League, which is organized by the Ghana Football Association, GFA. So first, to be able to make sure that you will get fair judgment, when you are suing, first, sue the stadium, sue GFA, sue the football clubs involved, and sue the stadium management. So when it gets to court, everybody will come and prove their case, and then they can excuse themselves based on what the judge will agree. Else, everybody will be shifting blame. You go and sue GFA. They will say, hey, we have no idea. It was an independent party who was brought. In fact, even at the DJ who played the music at the stadium, sue that person. Yes. So in that case, you would not have any excuse. Everybody will line up, and everybody would now justify their cases. Let's pick one last. It takes funds to do that. Yeah, it takes funds. So you can use the first legal aid. Copyright Office doesn't provide lawyers. It's the legal aid that will give you lawyers for that purpose. So let's understand this part. I was once working at the Copyright Office, you know? Yeah. So I am a member of the Copyright Office. Thank you. Mr. Alafia, let's do that.
Good morning once again. I have really come to terms with Kobe. And Kobe, sorry for the suffering, but I don't know if it is possible to also go to FIFA. Because some of us understand that when football teams in Africa or associations in Africa have issues, the last stop is FIFA. And I don't see why FIFA cannot help you with this. And when copyright said it is a private entity, you are a Ghanaian. A copyright office is an entity for Ghanaians. So please, copyright, wherever you are, I'm not just talking to Mr. Samuel, wherever copyright is, you should remember that in America, when one soul is missing somewhere, the whole American government goes after that soul. So when Mr. Samuel is suffering, please, copyright, go to his aid with all the arsenals that you have. Yeah. Now, I come back to our industry. We are talking about intellectual property, IP, internet, social media, all this, sports and all that. But you see, we the creatives, how do we get our benefits? How does copyright protect us? There are a lot of actors, a lot of performers, and they create jargons and when performing. Once we are on set and we are filming, actors create jargons, they create words, they create different kinds of other stuff. And you see, now you see radio stations, and all the radio stations, they use those jargons as part of their jingles. I hear Apprise music can monetize for us, but what can copyright do for us? Okay. What can ASOC do for us? And with the musicians, what can Gamro do for us? You see, we are suffering. It makes the state, it makes the state, every government, see us like we are not serious. But creative minds are very, very, very serious minds. So please, we are begging our leadership here, when we leave, including the UNESCO, when we leave, please, let's go back to these videos and audios, watch them, think through, and come up with something good so that next year, when we meet like this again, we will be happy and glad that we are creative. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So next year, we'll bring you the 9th edition of the Bnoskka Annual Intellectual Property, and we'll prepare the answers for all of you. So a response by Mr. Samir Uku, as you want to wrap up, right? All right. So quickly, what you want to do is that I'm going to hand over to him.
Yeah. We understand your sentiments and as you put it, your frustrations. My gentleman from music.
Yes, program is not
we
what I want to run the program. Okay.
I can say that
thank you for
from the point that I'm coming from, we are doing all that we can to make the system, much more effective as you expected. Okay? There have been, we have suffered in many, many ways. And the root cause usually has to do with the fact that our sector is not really given the attention that it deserves. And so you expect so much from the office, but I know you have been to the copyright office before. You should see it for yourself. That is the environment in which we work. The office sounds very big. I mean, we have a lot of creative people in Ghana. A lot of people expect so much from us. But if we are not resourced, how do we perform to the level that you expect? We can only do our best. I was saying that we spent a lot of time reviewing, the regulations, and I believe that is going to be the turning point for us, because very soon customs is going to be collecting what the levy on devices that are capable of copying copyright materials, and we have enhanced the law so well that even a smartphone that you use in your pocket will attract the levy when it is being imported. We have enhanced it such that the revenue that the levy generates is going to, turn things around. Please, just take it easy on us. Okay, just take it easy on us. Just for a little more time. I believe that everyone will see a different copyright office altogether.
Thank you so much. So, thank you for that quick response. And audience in Marshall's University, I would now, let's show him some love. Let's show him some love. And all the other speakers. We are so grateful. And also, I want to use this opportunity to also thank everybody and one of our chief inspectors who had been here, also trying to make sure security is in place, Mr. Michael Ajablatu and Chief Inspector Cynthia Deladem. God bless all of you. And Oduro Police also for granting us security. We'll now turn our attention to our chairman to give us his final closing remarks. And then Bibi will come and give us an outro. Mr. Ampah, please, what has been your remarks on all this intellectual property annual public lecture?
Very insightful. And I guess I have to go formal again this time. So for my closing remarks, distinguished speakers, guests who are here, and the students, I think this is very important. You asked very important questions, ladies and gentlemen. And then the media, because we expect that you take this out there and don't put a spin on it. let it be as it is so that people can judge for itself. As we bring this insightful lecture to a close, I'd like to express sincere appreciation to all who contributed to today's rich and forward-thinking discussions in commemoration of World Intellectual Property Day. This morning's exchanges have underscored a central reality. Intellectual property is no longer a peripheral concern within the sports sector. It is foundational. From athlete image rights and broadcasting frameworks to merchandising and digital content ecosystems, we have seen clearly that the future of sports in Ghana will be shaped not only by talent on the field, but by how effectively rights are protected, managed, and leveraged off the field. From the standpoint of UNESCO, today's dialogue reaffirms the importance of building robust ecosystems where creativity, innovation, and fair economic participation can thrive. Intellectual property is a key enabler in this regard. It ensures that creators, athletes, producers, broadcasters, and entrepreneurs are recognized, protected, and rewarded. Now, several important reflections emerge from today's lecture. Firstly, the need for stronger awareness and education. Intellectual property literacy must extend beyond legal practitioners to athletes, students, and content creators who are directly impacted by these systems. Secondly, the importance of policy coherence and enforcement. As Ghana's sports and creative sectors evolve, legal and institutional frameworks must keep pace with emerging trends, particularly in digital media and global content distribution. Thirdly, the vast potential of commercial innovation. When properly structured, intellectual property can unlock new revenue streams, attract investment, and position Ghanaian sports on the global stage. And finally, the value of strategic partnership between government, academia, industry, and international organizations such as WIPO, that's World Intellectual Property Organization, and of course UNESCO, to ensure that progress is inclusive, sustainable, and globally competitive. I commend the organizers, Dr. Arhin, for this vision in convening this platform and for extending its reach through national broadcast. This reflects a shared commitment to democratizing knowledge and advancing informed public discourse. I would also include the Marshall University, for giving the space for all of us to convene, and Max TV for taking this out there to everyone. Let us leave here not only informed, but motivated to translate these insights into action. This opportunity before Ghana is significant to harness intellectual property as a tool for empowering its athletes, strengthening its creative industries, and advancing national development. So on behalf of UNESCO, I affirm our continued support in promoting education, fostering cultural and creative industries, and strengthening the frameworks that enable innovation to flourish. And one last thing I would like to add is that there is an office called the Ghana Commission for UNESCO. They are the interface between government and UNESCO, as the UN agency. So when it comes to meetings and reporting to UNESCO, they are very key. So they are very instrumental in all these discussions. They are not here though. So I'd encourage that the next time they are part of the discourse, so that they can also play their role. I thank you all for your participation and encouragement, and I wish you safe travels as we conclude this important event. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
A very big thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that you have a lot on your decks, yet you spared us your time. And we don't take it for granted. We really appreciate your time, your efforts, and then dedication as well. And not just to our chairman, but to our lawyer as well, Mr. Bernard Bosompra. I know very soon I'm going to knock on your door with my legal. At this point, I think I can sue people when it comes to copyright issues, yes. So I'll be knocking on your door. And as well as Spiky, yes, Spiky. We are in this together. We have a lot of people to sue, so Oya is going to help us. And to Mr. Samuel Iwuku, and also to the lady among the men, Miss Grace. Thank you so much for your opportunity and the time spent with us. Really appreciate each and every one of you. And to every single person here, I think we've learned a lot. This session has been informative and educative. I would appreciate that it doesn't end here, but going forward, whenever we call on you to come for such gatherings, we are going to get you on board to educate us. Thank you so much, and thank you, Marshall University, for hosting us this morning. Do have a great day.